Hello everyone, so buckle up because today's video is going to be a long one. I'm sorry that it is a little bit late, but better late than never. So today's video, we are doing my 2025 yearly wrapped or reading wrap up, whatever you want to call it. I don't even know where I put my phone. There it is. So I have a couple of statistics I want to go through first. I did a little Canva presentation for you, as you guys know I like to do. So without further ado, grab a drink, grab a snack, and let's get into some statistics first. So this is my 2025 reading wrap up. Now, I do also want to preface this by saying some of these statistics are going to be a little bit wrong just because I did film this like a week ago or 2 weeks ago and I've read a few books since then. So this will be a little bit wrong and that's fine. The first set of statistics we're going to go through is the number of books I have read. Now, my Fable says that I have read, as I have both here. I've got my Fable open as well as my little presentation. So Fable says 84. When I did my, when I collated everything and did my statistics, 2 weeks ago, it was 85. And I've definitely read more books since then. I think I have read, I'm not sure, hang on, let me quickly count how many books I've actually read. Never mind, counting doesn't even work because I have books that I have unhauled. I have books that I've read on my Kindle that I don't know physically. So anyway, I want to say 90 books. I feel like it's been 90 books that I have read. So this says 85 books. I think it's more like 90. Number of pages, again, obviously this won't be completely accurate because I haven't updated it, but number of pages with 33,354 pages. My average rating was 4.09, which is pretty good, almost 4.5 stars, which is great. My major, my predominant format was physical, and the ratings as well is also accurate on my Fable. As you can see, it says 4.1, so it's pretty accurate. I also want to mention as well, stay to the end to see my top 5 fave books of the year as well as my 3 worst books of the year, so stay to the end to see that. But the genres that we have are, you can see there, but the top 3 was 24 romance, 19 romanticies, and 13 dark romances. But you can see fantasy was really high up there. Thriller and young adult kind of came up as well this year, which is really cool. And then my ratings, so we get to see a good overview of my ratings, and I have done the top 3 as well. So 5 stars, I gave the most 5 stars out this year, which is awesome. 22 5-star reads. However, that also might be a little bit incorrect just because upon reflection of some of the books, I don't think that they were worth that much. But that says 22, and then we have 9 4 stars, and then we have 6 4.75 stars and 6 4.25 stars as well. And then we move into tropes, and I've picked out my top 5 tropes that we've read this year because, as you can see, I read quite a lot. And obviously some books also swap between genres and also have some books have multiple tropes as well as kind of go across multiple genres as well. But we have 30 slow burn, we have 29 he falls first, 23 forced proximity, 18 enemies to lovers, and 20 found family. So they're the top 5. I know I said them out of order, that's just because, as you can see how it is presented on there. And also something that I wanted to go through as well was my top authors this year. So as you can see there, I've got 5 authors. These were my top authors this year. I had 6 books by Chloe Walsh that I read. I had 5 books by Liz Tomforty. I had 4 books by Rebecca Yarros and Alice Oseman, and 3 books by Carissa Broadbent as well. So that's the end of the statistics, but like I said, stay to the end to see my top 5 fave reads of the year as well as my 3 worst books of the year. Now we're gonna go through each book, and I'm gonna try and do this really quickly so that you guys aren't here for an hour. Okay, so the first book that I read was Praise by Sarah Kate. This was a really great book, was kind of one of the first ex-boyfriend's dad's trope that I had read, and I really loved it. So the tropes in this is it's taboo, it's forbidden, boss and employee, dom and sub, ex-boyfriend's dad, and a spicy club as well, a sex club as well. I rated this one 4 stars, and it got 4 chili spices as well because it was quite spicy. It has that BDSM element to it, which I love as well. So that was the first book that I read this year. Now there will be a couple, this will be sort of out of order because when it comes to series, I'm going to talk about series as a whole. Okay, so if I read them really close together, I'm going to talk about them as a whole. So then the next one that I read was Mile High by Liz Tomforty. This is the start of the Windy City series. You're following Stevie and Xander. Xander is a ice hockey player and Stevie is a flight attendant for their charter plane. The tropes you have in this, it's forbidden, you have forced proximity, he falls first, and it's a ice hockey romance. I really did love this book, thoroughly enjoyed it, rated it a 4.25 star, and it got 1.5 chili spice because it's not super spicy, but Liz Tomforty knows how to write spice. But yeah, it was really good. I really enjoyed that book. Then we had our first rereads of the year, which was Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. Love this series, you guys know that. I'm not going to harp on about it too long, but you have bonded dragons, enemies to lovers, trials, coach and trainee, like destined to fail sort of dynamics in here. I'm not going to tell you what this is about because everyone should know, but I really, really love this book and I think everyone should read this book. It's such an easy fantasy book to read. This still is a 5-star read for me. It's actually an Infinity Star read for me, like top tier. Love this book, love this series. So 5-star, Infinity Star, and it got a 1.5 chili spice for me as well. Then it was our next reread, which you can probably guess why I read both of these in January, but it was Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros as well. Not going to tell you what happens in this. We're following the same characters, same plot, same storyline. You know, it's going to be a 5-book series. You have very similar tropes in this as well. And yeah, this is book 2 in the Empyrean series. This again is a 5-star Roman Empire book for me. This one isn't quite as high up as Fourth Wing and Onyx Storm, but it is still a 5-star read for me. So this again go 5-star as well as a 1.5 chili spice because I don't find that these are super spicy. I mean they are, but compared to other stuff I've read, they're not. Then we had The Other Brother by Tyranny Page. Tyranny Page is a TikToker from Australia that ended up writing a book. Her second book comes out in January this year. I think it's on like 13th or something. I'm very excited for it. It's called The Sweet Secret, I believe. But this was her debut novel and it is really, really good. This is like ex-fiance's brother. You have a musician MMC or a musician MC, and you kind of get like a bit of a found family dynamic in this as well, which I thought was really sweet. Tyranny knows how to write spice, and I think her humor really came across in this book. I did rate this 5 stars originally, however, upon reflection, I think it's more like a 4.5, 4.75 stars. I just think it was missing that little special sauce to like really take it up to a 5-star, but it was still great and I highly recommend this book as well. I'm going to be holding up 2 versions of Onyx Storm as well because I read it twice this year. But then we read Onyx Storm. So this is the 3rd book. It came out in January of 2025. I think it was the 21st it came out. Really loved this. This is like a little bit of like a road trip sort of thing. Really loved it. Not going to tell you too much about what the story is about just because obviously it's the 3rd book in the series and I don't want to spoil anything for you. But again, a god tier book for me, god tier series in general. So like 5-star, Infinity Star. I really loved this book. This one was really, really great. I think we got a lot of answers, but we also got a lot more questions, and I think that is so smart to do to get you to read the next book. So again, still really love this book, absolutely obsessed with it. This got 5-star, Infinity Star read, and this one got a 3 chili spice because this one was definitely a lot more spicy in terms of like the tension and stuff. It felt spicier. Then we move on to February. So the first book that I read in February was Wild Love by Elsie Silva. This was a book club pick because I was doing book club at the start of the year, and I don't have the physical on me because I have donated it and it's got all my annotations in it, but small town romances are not for me. In saying that, this was a pretty good book. I did enjoy it, but like it wasn't for me. I'm just not a fan of small town romances. So you have small town, childhood friends to lovers, boss employee, and single dad tropes. I rated this 3 stars and 1.5 chili spices. There was one scene in this that always sticks out, which was like she's on her time of month and he like spreads her out on the desk and like she's challenging him that he couldn't find the spot even if he tried, and he like marked an X on it on like these period underwear, and that's like the only scene that really sticks in my head. I do also remember the little girl, I think her name was Cora, when she was like 12 or 13. She really stuck out for me and really held this book together for me, and it was the only reason why I continued on with it. The next book we have is Her Muse by Ivy Graves. This was a really good book. I really enjoyed this book. I actually beta read this for Ivy, so I gave her like some feedback back to it and stuff as well, just to sort of help with the flow of it, or like this little inside like secret thing that was going on that kind of came out at the end, and I was like, I kind of figured that you need to like change that, and so she changed it, and that was really cool to have like my opinions taken on board as well. I rated this a 4-star, and it also got a 4 chili spice because it was pretty spicy. It's a very short book, it's only like 150 pages. I do need to buy the physical so I can have it on my shelf. And then we went on and I read Her Greatest Mistake. I think I listened to this on Audible. I think this is when I started really getting into audiobooks as well. I think I'd listened to part of Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, Wild Love, and this was when I really started to get into audiobooks this year. This was good. I don't really remember a lot about it. I remember that this is like a second chance romance, like childhood friends to lovers, second chance, ice hockey, has the fake dating trope in it, which I really love. I rated this 4.75 stars and it got a 2 chili spice. I don't remember why it got a 2 chili spice. I don't remember it being that spicy, but anyway. Then I'm going to talk to you about this series as a whole. I read the second and third book in February, but I've read the first book over like November to January of like 2023 through 2024 through to 2025. But it is the Eldmore trilogy by JP Feather. So you have Eldmore, Origins of Blaze, Hollows of Shadows, and Maze of Twilight. This is like a dystopian fantasy, so you have like an underground world and human civilization has gone down there. You've got dragons and bonding and trials and like enemies to lovers, lovers to enemies, and then enemies to lovers again. And then you also have like, you know, coach and trainee. Very, very interesting. You have like a lot of secrets that come up as well. You have age gap as well. The first one, I think Origins of Blaze, I think I rated a 3-star and like maybe half a chili spice. The second one I rated 3.5 star and 1.5 chili spices. And the third one I rated 4 stars and 2 chili spices. And then we have Red River Road by Anna Downs. This was something that really kick-started my like mystery thriller, learning that I really liked mystery thrillers. This was the first book of that. You have Solo Female Traveler, Unreliable Witness, Missing Person, also like unreliable narrator vibes as well. This is a suspense thriller. I again like physical and audiobook listen to this. I rated this 4 stars. Part of the reason why I love this so much is it's based in Western Australia, and being an Aussie girly, it was really cool to see a book, you know, be based in Australia. So I really highly recommend this book. It was really great. I did not see the ending coming. Like, I wouldn't even call it a plot twist. I just did not see the ending coming, if that makes sense. So I highly recommend that one by Anna Downs. And then we move into March, and the first series that I read in March back to back was the Caraval trilogies by Stephanie Garber. So I read Caraval, Legendary, and Finale. I have a big bone to pick with this series. I did not enjoy books 2 and 3, but I really enjoyed book 1, and I think we could have left it at book 1. I don't think book 2 and 3 was needed. I didn't end up reading the novella because I just didn't care for it after not enjoying the second 2 books in the series. But the first book, you have fake dating, enemies to lovers, you have like trials or magical competitions, forced proximity as well. The first book, Caraval, I rated 4 stars, Legendary I rated 3.5 stars, and Finale I rated 2 stars. So you can tell that I really just disliked it as we went on. I just feel like the more the story went on, we were like trying to grasp at straws to like keep the story going when we didn't need to be. It could have ended at the first one. March was not a good reading month for me either, for the most part. We'll get to it in a minute, but for the most part it wasn't a good reading month. The next book I read in March was Corrupt by Penelope Douglas. This is a dark romance. It's the first book in the Devil's Nights series. I do want to read the rest of this series, or at least the second one in this series, because I have heard that this book is just really awful and the rest of them are really good. So maybe that'll change my mind. But you have Second Chance in this. You've got like huge miscommunication trope, isolation, stalker, forced proximity, and it's a sports romance because it's got basketball in it. He's a basketball player. I rated this a 3.25 stars. I don't even think it's worth that. I probably would rate it like a 2-star now, and it got like a 2.5 chili spice because there's one scene in this that is very spicy. It is very spicy in general because obviously it's a dark romance, but there is one scene in this in particular, the spa scene. If you guys have read it, you'll understand what I mean. That was the other one. The reason why I really disliked this book was just what he did to Rika was just, I can't. If you watched my Book Boyfriend Awards during Bookmas, I will link it in the description. You'll understand why I really disliked that book even more. Then the next one I read was A Novel Love Story by Ashley Poston. I actually listened to this in the car on the way to a wedding in the Hunter Valley, and I remember getting my hair done trying to read it. It took me like 3 hours to get through 80 pages, which is not like me. I can usually read about 100 pages an hour, maybe a little bit less depending on what it is, but like something like this, I could have absolutely read 100 pages in an hour. I should have have been able to finish this book in like maybe 4 hours, and the fact that I hadn't even got 100 pages in 4 hours was really telling to me that I didn't like it. But I pushed through. I ended up listening to it because I was like, maybe if I listen to it I'll get through it. No, I don't recommend this book. I didn't like this book. You've got small town, grumpy sunshine, like stuck in the past. It's got magical realism, and I just really didn't like this book. Yeah, it wasn't for me. I rated it 2.75 stars, but upon reflection I'd probably be more like a 2-star as well. And it got 1 chili spice, but again, I don't think it's deserving of that. I think I would give it like half a chili spice. I only remember like one scene, like one spicy scene in here. So then the next one we have is Next in Line by Jeffrey Archer. Again, I don't have it anymore. I do have the book, but it has been turned into a book bouquet. Again, if you saw my Bookmas videos, I think it was day 6, I made a Christmas book bouquet. That was the book that I used. Again, I'll link that down below, or it'll be linked like on the screen in the little like cards. I'll figure it out. It'll be linked somewhere if you want to check that video out. But this was pretty interesting. I didn't realize that it was book 5 in a series, but it was like, it didn't follow a story. It like followed the same characters. So you could read them out of order, but if you wanted to like understand the character growth of all the characters, you probably should read them in order. And I would recommend reading them in order because I was a little confused. So, but I still enjoyed the book. The storyline was really good. I rated this a 3.75 star. And like I said, the storyline was really, really good. So then the final book that I read in March was A Court of Mist and Fury. So this, I'm gonna ruffle some feathers with this, and I'm really sorry, but I don't think that this book is worth all the hype. I think that the 3rd book in the series is, which we will talk about in just a second, but I initially rated this 5 stars, and I think I would probably rate it like more like a 4.5, 4.75 now upon reflection and upon reading the rest of the series. And just, you know, I haven't read all the series. I haven't read A Court of Silver Flames yet, but I will. Just the like, I felt like we were trying to figure out where to go with the story with this, which really bothered me, as well as the fact that we were kind of writing off Reese's poor behavior as, oh, well, I'm hurt, blah, 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 and this is why. Like, no, just own it. Like, if you're gonna be a dick, own it. And if we're gonna write characters as assholes, make them own it, because I can respect that. But if you try to write it off as like, oh, well, I'm doing it because I love her and this and that, no, like, just be a dick and own being a dick. So that was my problem with this book. I still really enjoyed it, especially when it got to like, I don't know, chapter 50 something. I think it was like chapter 52 or 53 was when I really started to like it. But again, we're waiting till like, we're getting through all of this for then it to get good, where we did that with the 1st book, which really bothered me. So that's why I didn't like this book too much. Well, that's why I would change my rating on it now. But yeah, so like I said, I originally rated this 5 stars. I would rate it more like a 4.5 now, and it got a 1.5 chili spice. It isn't a super spicy series. I don't know why everyone says that it is. It's really not. And then we go into April, and the 1st book that I read in April was A Court of Wings and Ruin. I finished Akamath and needed to go straight into Akawar. This is my favorite book in the series. I absolutely adore this book. I think that the way the characters were written in this book was absolutely fantastic. I think the character development in this book was also amazing, as well as it having a really good plot line. That is my thing. I need a good plot line. If you're going to write a fantasy book, you need to have a good plot line. Okay, I don't mind if you have one book as a setup book and then the rest of the book, but do not give me 2 setup books. I do not want the whole 1st book to be a setup book and then half or more of the 2nd book to be a setup book. No, don't do that to me. Don't make me wait till book 3 when they're this big for it to be good. No, that pisses me off. And that's the problem that I had with this series. However, in saying that, this book is definitely worth the 5-star rating. I love this book. This is a god tier book for me. It's not a god tier series, but this book is a god tier book. This is an infinity star rated book for me. I love it. Every time I think about it, it just, I love it so much. So this got a 5-star or infinity star, and it got a 1.5 chili spice. Again, this series isn't super spicy. I don't know why people say it's super spicy, because it's really not. I have heard that A Court of Silver Flames is more spicy, but we'll get to that this year at some stage. And then I read A Court of Frost and Starlight. This was just a cute little novella, especially after everything that happened in Akawar. We needed just a cute little Christmas novella. It was very sweet. This was around winter solstice, and I said I was going to talk about all of them in one go, didn't I? But I feel like these ones I really had to break down, so sorry about that. But yeah, this was just a really cute little novella that we needed. It got a 4-star. I don't rate books that are under like 300 pages that are just a little novella more than 4 stars, because I just don't see the point in it, if that makes sense. Yeah, this was like 233 pages, so I don't have enough material to rate it that high. But yeah, so it got a 4-star rating and a 1 chili spice as well. And then for book club in April, we had Court of the Vampire Queen by Katie Robert, and This was such a great find. I do love Katie Roberts' writing, but this particular book was just something else. The only problem I had with this was there was a lot of grammatical errors, and there was one other thing, I can't remember what it was specifically now, and I didn't write it down when I thought of it, and I can't remember what it was now for like thinking back to it, but there was two things that bothered me, and one of those things was the amount of grammatical errors that were missed on the editing floor. I don't know how that many was missed, and I'm talking like every few pages. And yeah, that was kind of annoying, but I really, really love this book. You've got Why Choose, Bonded Mates, Found Family, and then you have like MMMF. I was really struggling, so, but it's a Why Choose. There's no like, they're all together, all four of them, and it's great. Love it. So this one got a 4.5 star and a 4 chili spice because this was pretty spicy, so loved this book. This book is a book that I recommend for people that like are dark romance readers first and want to go into fantasy. Go to this because this has really good plot intrigue with like spice intrigue. It was very good in those terms. Then I had like my third reread of the year, which was Reckless by Lauren Roberts. I kind of did like a half reread of this. The back like maybe half I didn't remember a lot of because I was so ill when I read it. I was reading this on TikTok Live last year and I ended up having to stop because I was so ill I couldn't actually read out loud, and then I was reading it to myself and I was so sick I forgot about it. So I did a little bit of a reread. I kind of like skim read the first half and then like actually read the back half. But I really loved this book. I think I gave it like a 4.75. It was just really sweet, but like it didn't have like a huge plot line, which is why I didn't give it that 5 star. And it didn't get any spice either because it's not a spicy book, it's a YA book. But yeah, I just really, really loved that. So I really loved this book, and yeah, I loved it because I have the special editions, the collector's editions of all of these books now. And then I went straight on to read. The reason why I did the reread for that was because Fearless was coming out and I wanted to refamiliarize myself with the ending so that I could go into Fearless. So the next book I read was Fearless, and again, I'm not going to tell you too much about what happens in this because I like last book in the series, but again, you've still got like Forbidden, you've got Trials in this. I rated this one a 4.25 stars and I got a 1.5 chili spice because there is actually a like fade to black spicy scene in this, and my biggest problem was I just didn't like the way Lauren Roberts went about the plot device she used in this. It really bothered me, and yeah, I didn't like the fact that this beautiful sweet character got written poorly in this book, if that makes sense. So that was that one. And then finally, so then I read Collide, and I'm going to talk to you about Spiral while I've got it here as well. But then I read Collide, which is the first series in the Off the Ice series, I believe this is called, by Bal Cabra. I overall am not a fan of this series. I didn't really like Collide. I think I rated it a 3.25 star and it got a 2 chili spice. I went on later on to read Icebreaker, and I think Icebreaker was way better. And then with Spiral, I listened to it on Audible, and I think I was building my child's bed when I got him his single bed and missed out on some of the major conflicts. And when I saw other reviews of this book, I kind of did like a mini skim read of it and realized that they were all correct and did not like the major point of conflict in this book, which was the FMC had a huge problem with him being celibate, and yeah, it really bothered me, like considering we're in 2025. So overall, I don't really rate this series. I originally rated this 5 stars and I think like 2 chili spices, but upon reflection I would be rating it like a 1 star and like still a 2 chili spice. But yeah, so that was the Off the Ice series. And then we go into May, and the first book that I read in May was Electric Idol by Katie Robert. I think this is when I started to do some like reading vlogs and stuff, so if you want in-depth thoughts, I think this is my May reading vlog. I think it was like, I think I named it like Chaotic Reading Vlog or something, May, I don't know, can't remember. But this is the second book in the Dark Olympus series by Katie Robert. Absolutely love it. It's a Psyche and Eros reimagining retelling in a modern day setting. You've got Marriage and Convenience, Hierarchy Takedown, again like a retelling reimagining. This one I rated a 5 star and it got a 2.5 chili spice as well. I really love this book. You can see I annotated it quite a lot for dark romance and thoroughly enjoyed this, especially the Marriage of Convenience aspect. Loved it. Then I read Her Soul for Revenge by Harley LaRue. This is book 2 in the Souls trilogy. Again, I really like this series in general. I've read the first 2 books. I still need to read Soul of a Witch, which will be happening this year coming, very excited for it. But this was a really great book, very spicy, just a great book all round. It had a good plot line. I do think that you would be able to read, like tandem read all 3 books, which would be cool, because I feel like that's part of the reason why like I'm a little bit slow to get to Soul of a Witch, but anywho, that's fine. That's neither here nor there. But in this, you've got very like heavy BDSM. It's a paranormal romance. You've got sacrifices and cult discussions in this as well. I rated this a 4.5 star, and again, a 4 chili spice. We got some really good spicy books this year, which love that for me. Then I read Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. I have quickly discovered that I quite enjoy Hannah Grace's writing. I loved this book. It was so funny. I loved feeling the second-hand embarrassment that I felt in this book, which I know sounds super random, but it was one of those things that you're like, I've been there, I've done that kind of thing. Or like, oh girl, why are you doing that? Like, it was really good. Really enjoyed this. It's an ice hockey romance. You have rivals to lovers, forced proximity, and you also have a found family element as well with these college kids. It's really quite sweet, that aspect of it. This I rated a 4 star, and it also got a 2 chili spice as well. So that one was really good. I much prefer the Icebreaker series over Off the Ice. Then the next book I read, I again don't have because I got rid of it, but I read Flawless by Elsie Silver. Again, small town romance is just not for me. So obviously the tropes in this is like it's a cowboy romance, small town, he falls first. My favorite thing from this book was what the hell is a cowboy hat rule, and it was you wear the hat, you ride the cowboy. Thought it was great, and then Rhett like carried her away. It was quite funny, but that was really the only part of the book that I enjoyed. I wasn't a fan of this. I rated it 2 stars and 1.5 chili spices. The biggest thing, I would have loved to see more bull riding components in it, because yeah, I feel like that would have just been, why is my camera on 7%? What the hell? Oh, I'm gonna need to plug this in while I do this, which is fine, I can do that. But yeah, I feel like that was just something that we were missing. So I'm gonna quickly plug this in so I can do this and charge at the same time. Okay, you guys are plugged in while I do this because I'm not waiting for it to charge and then continue it. No, it's just, that's not something I'm willing to do today. Anyway, so moving on, then I read Six Scorched Roses. This was a beautiful book, but I don't feel like it was necessary to the story of the Crowns of Nyaxia series. I don't think it was necessary. I stopped myself from reading The Songbird and the Heart of Stone because I hadn't read this book, and I didn't need to do that. So I didn't hate this book. It was a beautiful story. I just don't think it was conducive to the overall story of the Crowns of Nyaxia series. The tropes you have in this was cursed lands, it's forbidden, obviously supernatural because it's a vampire story. I rated it 3 stars and 1 chili spice. Then I read The Darkest Temptation by Danielle Laurie. I did read the other 2 books, but they were rereads, so I'm going to go into that later on because I read them close together. So we'll go into them together in a minute. But The Darkest Temptation by Danielle Laurie, the 3rd book in the Maid series, I love this book. It's my favorite book in this series. I think it was a great mafia romance, a great captive romance. So obviously that's 2 of the tropes you have in this. You also have age gap, forced proximity, and like enemies to lovers, because they do come from like rival families essentially. This series is interconnected standalones, and you do get a slight insight into Ronan in the book before this, in The Sweetest Obsession. But yeah, I have heard that book 4 is coming out, which is going to be The Purest Addiction, I believe, and I'm super excited for that. Can't wait for it. I don't know if I told you, but I got a 5-star rating and a 1 chili spice. It wasn't super spicy, especially for a dark romance, but anywho. Then we had our first DNF, and I hate that this was a DNF because I have spoken about a book by this author already. I am friends with her, and I just hate that I hated this book so much. I disliked it to the point where I actually threw it across the room because it icked me so badly. But it was Bones Deep by Ivy Graves. I think that the concept was really good, but just certain things moved a little bit too fast for me that I had a problem with. For example, he had seen her when she was like 16 and he was like 20 something, almost 30, and he was like, I'm gonna have her. Didn't see her until she was in her 20s for the second time at an eating disorder clinic that he owned. And by the 3rd one, he had kidnapped her, and then she was all down to get down and dirty with him after being like, fuck you, blah, blah, blah. I was like, no, yuck, ick, and threw it across the room. So that was a DNF, and I hate that I DNF'd it, but I'm not going to read stuff that I'm not enjoying. I'm not going to force myself to it. Then going into June, I read The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. This took me by surprise. I wasn't expecting to like this as much as I did, but I really did enjoy it, and I am eager to read the next books in this series because I did get to read like a chapter from The Wicked King, and I am excited to read, like, continue on. This is like love triangle. We're talking talking about like mortals. There's like huge secrets, enemies to lovers, grumpy / cold hero. It's a bully romance, and I think I already said forbidden. It's also forbidden as well because we're talking about like a mortal and a fae prince. So I rated this a 4-star and had half a chili spice. It's supposed to be young adult, but like there was some like questionable things being mentioned. So that's why that got that. And then the next one I read was Enter Chameleon by A. Double. This was gifted to me by Ivy Graves. This is one of her friends' books that she wrote, and I really enjoyed this. Again, took me by surprise. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It's a dark romance. We've got he falls first, boss employee, like runaway, and like the like care for you trope as well. I rated this a 4.5-star and a 1 chili spice. Really love this book, highly recommend. Then I read Rival Darling by Alexandra Moody. This is a YA romance, like, and I'm talking YA to the point where like they're in high school and we're literally not talking about anything sexual at all, which I did really enjoy. This took me by such a surprise. I actually ended up rating it 5 stars because I feel like this was where the miscommunication trope was done correctly. We're dealing with like 16, 17 and 18-year-olds that don't know how to communicate. We're obviously in high school, so like again the communication is obviously not going to be great, and it was done correctly. Like it was actually done correctly. It was through the whole book, and it was frustrating to read, but it wasn't like a huge point of conflict like where it randomly got dropped in at the 3rd act and that was the major conflict. It had gone through the whole book, so it was done right. So I rated this 5 stars. It got 0 chili spices because it was literally so YA. It was so good. I love that book. Then next up we are going to talk about the Letters of Enchantment duology. I only have book 1 here because I haven't bought the second book because I can't find it in this print, which is really annoying. I'm probably going to have to get rid of this and get the smaller one, which is sad, but anyway, I really enjoyed this book more than I thought I did. I enjoyed the series, like the duology more than I thought I would. It took me by surprise. The second book was probably my favorite. The romance was so sweet across both, and the slight fantastical elements was also really sweet. I feel like we got more of that in the second one. We got to see a lot more. The tropes in these books is we've got workplace rivals, slow burn, war setting. We also have like gods at war as well. You also have the amnesia trope, and you also have the he falls first trope as well, which you can tell was a very big trope for me this year. This one got, so Divine Rivals got a 4.25 star and half a chili spice, and Ruthless Vows got a 4.75 and a 1.5 chili spice as well. Then I went on to read the second book in the Icebreaker series, which was Wildfire by Hannah Grace. I didn't bother to pull my paperback off from up there. This one was standing up and was easier to grab, so sorry about that. It's the beautiful like little sprayed edged edition, but I really love this book. I rated this a 4.75 star. It just missed out on a 5 star for me, but I really loved this book. It was great. I was kicking my feet. I remember when I was reading it, I was like, fuck, I need to annotate this book, and I actually went back and reread the first two chapters so I could annotate what I had missed because it was so good. I wasn't planning on annotating it, but it was so good. The tropes you have on this is forbidden, forced proximity, summer romance, college romance, slow burn. Again, like I said, I rated this a 4.75 star and it got a 2 chili spice from me as well. This was just so good, especially the way that it opened. Like the first few chapters, the FMC and the MMC were having a one-night stand and she literally bolts down the stairs, and I remember at some point he says we'll stuff her if she can't have she clearly has something about like her not having a problem writing on men's faces but has a problem with confronting them afterwards, and it was just really funny. So I really enjoyed this book. And then we got into my 4th reread of the year. Yeah, my 4th reread of the year, which was Onyx Storm. I did a buddy read with Book Bestie, and as you can see, I annotated this so much even on the first one, but all of the orange tabs is just from the reread. So I highly recommend doing a reread of this series because you will pick up so much more information on the reread because you've gotten over the like excitement and experience of it, and then you're like, I just need to know. So I am planning on doing another reread of this entire series. I love this book. Again, this is a god tier book for me, a god tier series, god tier book, all of that good stuff. So yeah, this gets like 5-star, infinity star, and this one got a 3 chili spice, as I said before. Really love that. Then I went on to read Stolen Air by Sophie Lark. This very much reminded me of The Darkest Temptation, and again was one of those like captor mafia romances done really, really well. Loved it. It was done so well, especially when you compare it to something like What I DNF'd, which was Bones Deep. When you compare how that captor romance was compared to this, it was like a bit of a slow burn in this rather than like the girl just being all down for it. And like even in The Darkest Temptation, like she was definitely definitely like all for it before she found out, but once she was actually captured, it slowed down for her. And then like, you know, and it was the same for this, and I really, really enjoyed it. I really liked it. Discovered that I really liked Sophie Lark's writing, and I'm excited to read the rest of this series as well. So like I said, you've got Mafia, Captive, Captor, He Falls First, Rivalry, Enemies to Lovers, and an age gap in this one as well, which I always love. And this got a 4.75 star rating and a 2 chili spice as well. And then we move on to the next rereads that I did, which was rereads 5 and 6. I reread The Sweetest Oblivion and The Maddest Obsessions. I reread those because I got a order on my Etsy shop, and when I looked at the tabs on this, I was like, that's not enough, and I disliked this a lot too, so I was like, I need to reread it. So I ended up rereading it, rereading both of them. I originally had rated this one 5 stars, and I did not agree with that, when especially after reading The Darkest Temptation. This one was definitely not quite as strong. I still liked it, still enjoyed it, but it wasn't quite as strong. And like when I tell you the amount of annotations I ended up putting in this was ridiculous. Like it really was ridiculous, but really loved this one. And then The Maddest Obsession, I just did not like. I didn't like the storyline, I didn't like the characters, I didn't like anything about it. So The Sweetest Oblivion got a 4.75 star up on the reread and a 1.5 chili spice, and The Maddest Obsession got a 2.75 star rating and a 2 chili spice, because it was more spicy. But yeah, I just didn't like the storyline or the characters in The Maddest Obsession very much. And then I read How Does It Feel by Janine O'Reilly. This book really let me down. I was really excited to read it, and I did start reading it quite a while ago and just like couldn't get into it, and then I ended up listening to it on Audible, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like seriously, what the fuck is going on? But the cliffhanger at the end really, really got me, and I want to read the second book purely just because of what happened in this. So I rated this one a 2.75 star and a 1 chili spice as well. Something that really bothered me in this book as well was the way the MC, like the male main character, was his language during Spicy Time. It was too crude for me that I didn't like it. It was like, I don't mind vulgar language, but like this was, no, wasn't for me. Didn't like it. Now we're moving on to July, and we have the first 2 books in the Boys of Tommen series. So I'm going to talk about them in their duologies or their duets rather than the whole series, because they do follow different characters. So we obviously have Binding and Keeping 13. Keeping 13 is my favorite in the entire Boys of Tommen series. This was just so emotionally gut-wrenching and so beautiful. However, this duet in general is also my favorite in the series. I just love Joey and Shannon's story, and Johnny and Shannon's story, not Joey is Shannon's brother, sorry. I just love Johnny and Shannon's story, and that's just, I don't know what she put in these books, but if you guys watch my Boys of Tommen reading vlog, you'll understand what this book made me feel. It was just so sweet. So Binding 13 is a 5-star read, and it got half a chili spice because there was a little bit of like spicy talk in there. And then Keeping 13 is an infinity star read for me. This is just so freaking beautiful, and I love it so much. And I rated this one, again, like I said, an infinity star read, so 5-star infinity star read, and this got a full chili spice as well. So that was the first 2 books in the Boys of Tommen series. Then I read The Right Move by Liz Tomforty, the second book in the Windy City series. This follows Ryan and Indy. Ryan is Stevie's brother and Indy is Stevie's best friend. So it's like best friend's brother or sister's best friend, whichever way you want to look at it, are the tropes in this. It is obviously a sports romance. He is a basketball player. You have fake dating, found family, and forced proximity as well. This got a 5-star rating for me and a 2 chili spice, because the dirty talk that this man is, the man, girl, get it. Like, oh, so good. We've already spoken about Spiral. Then I went on to read the Heartstopper series. Now, I did read volumes 3 and 4 later on in the year, so I will get to them in a minute, but we'll just talk about volumes 1 and 2 so far. So these are comics. I believe Alice Oseman actually says that these are comics, not graphic novels. So take that as you will, but yeah, I love these. These were very sweet. They weren't rated super, I mean, they were. I rated them 4 stars each. They're super sweet. I think that you can get like a really beautiful message from these, and just the storyline in general is very sweet about these 2 boys trying to figure out where they fit in with school and all that. It is a young adult series, but the topics that are spoken about in it really do just, they delivered it in such a soft way that young adults can handle this sort of stuff, if that makes sense. So I really, really love this. Like I said, they both got 4 stars and no chili spice because it is a young adult. And then we had my second DNF of the year, which was Love Redesigned by Lauren Asher. I really disliked this book. The 2 main characters in this were just acting like absolute twats and absolute children, and they were in their 30s and they literally were acting like they were 16, and it did my head in. And I got 9 chapters in. Yeah, I think it was like 70 pages, 9 chapters in. I was like, absolutely not. Bin. Yep, that was that one. And then the last book that I read in July was Ride With Me by Simone Soltani. I know that this is the second book in this series, but I'd heard really awful reviews on the first one, so I wanted to skip over that and just see what I thought of this one before I went into the first one. And I really did enjoy this one. The tropes you have in this are Married in Vegas, it's a sports romance, he's an F1 driver, it is a slow burn, and then the marriage in Vegas turns into a marriage of convenience. And I really, really loved it. Really, really loved it, and do really recommend this book as well. And then we go into my birthday month and the books that I read during August, which the first one I read was The Last Dragon King by Leah Stone. You guys know that Leah Stone is an author that I've really discovered over the past 12 months or like 18 months, and I really, really love her writing. This was another one of those. I really love this. This was like a really strong fantasy book. It wasn't quite young adult. It was romantic. Well, I wouldn't say it was young adult. It definitely had at least one spicy scene in it. The tropes you have in this is lost royalty, slow burn, he falls first, dragon shifters, arranged marriage. I rated this 5 stars and it got a 1 chili spice as well. I really do recommend this, and I'm excited to continue on with the rest of this series as well. Then this is such a fave book of this year. I really love this book, and it was For Whom the Bell Tolls by J.C. Lynn, which is so funny because this was such a random pickup. I read the back in Kmart and I was like, oh, that sounds really interesting. Picked it up, and then after I read it, I realized that J.C. Lynn, actually, I used to watch her skits of this story on TikTok, and then she ended up writing a book about it, and I thought that was so awesome, and I'm very excited for the rest of the series to come out too. The series is called Hell's Bells, so like hell and then bells as in like B-E-L-L-E. Hell's Bells, so like Hell's Beauties, and I just thought it was really good. I really love this story. It was such a sweet, beautiful story, and I want to do a reread of it this year in 2026 to annotate it because it was really beautiful, and Book Bestie wants to read it as well, so I said I'd buddy read it with him. I was like, but don't expect me to slow down in this book. I love this book way too much. So the tropes you have in this is slow burn, you have war, it's a third-person dual POV, which it was really interesting to read, and it's also like a monster romance or like a paranormal romance, because we have demonic romance in this, which was great. This got a 5 star. Again, this is another like infinity star read for me, and it got a 2 chili spice as well. Then we went on to a book that let me down, which was Our Infinite Fates by Laura Stephen. I had such high expectations for this book and I was not impressed. I wanted to spend more time in the past lifetimes, and when we got to like the plot twist or the reason as to why these people were living reincarnated lives over and over again, it went from being slightly fantasy to like really heavy fantasy, and it just didn't make sense to me, and I really didn't like it. You have fated mates, reincarnation, they're the tropes in this, and I rated it 1.5 star and half chili spice, and yeah, it really let me down. Then we have the Saga of the Unfated, which we have both. So we have A Fate Inked in Blood and A Curse Carved in Bone by Danielle L. Jensen. I really quite enjoyed this duology, or this saga, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to call it a duology because there's only 2 books in it. The tropes you have in this was like Children of the Gods, Forbidden, like destinies and fates. It was very, very interesting. I really did like it. I think the second book was stronger than the first book. I don't think that the first book was bad by any means, but I just think that the second book was a little bit stronger. I rated the first book 3.25 stars and 1 chili spice, and I rated the second book 4 stars and 1 chili spice as well. And then I finished reading because I was reading this with Book Bestie. Oh, I'm too old to sit on the ground for this long. And then I read Spark of the Everflame by Penn Cole. Again, this is another book that really let me down. However, I have heard that this is a lot like ACOTAR, where the first book is a setup book and then it gets really good from then on. So I am eager to read Glow of the Everflame and Heat of the Everflame and Burn once it comes out. I suppose I will reevaluate that once I read Glow of the Everflame, which I am planning on reading very soon. This is Spark of the Everflame. I can't tell you the tropes that I had in this because I disliked this so much. I know that it's a love triangle. I know that you've got like immortal beings and descendants romance and that sort of stuff, but this book in particular wasn't for me. But the cliffhanger that it was left on, I'm very excited to read the next book because I do want to know about it. I rated this one a 3-star and half a chili spice as well. And then we get into the 4 books that I read during my first ever 24-hour reading challenge, which was One by One by Frida McFadden. I really liked this compared to The Inmate. However, after reading other mystery thrillers, horror thrillers, suspense thrillers, all those things, I have decided that Frida McFadden is not my favorite. I don't mind her books for a quick read, but anywho, this you have Isolated Setting, Secrets and Betrayal, picked off One by One. I rated this a 3.75 star and a half a chili spice because there is a spicy scene in this, which was super random for that book. Then I also read Shatter Me, the first book in the Shatter Me series by Tahira Murphy. I really love this. The tropes, it's a dystopian. It's also a YA dystopian as well, which I really loved. It was also nice to read something so different because I hadn't read a dystopian in so long. But we have enemies to lovers, love triangle, friends to lovers, and forced proximity in this as well. And I rated this one a 3.5 star. Pretty decent rating. I did enjoy it. I was very eager to read the rest of the series in that as well. Then we have Gravity by Sarah Kate. Love Sarah Kate. So excited to read more of her books this year coming. I literally have one of her books on the TBR for January and I'm so excited for it. This is, the tropes you have in this is love triangle, age gap, billionaire romance, it's taboo. You have like isolation as well. Very, very, very cool. I love this book. Absolutely love this book as well. I rated this one a 4.25 star and it got a 3.5 chili spice because there was a really spicy scene in this of like a 3-way with the dad, the son, and the girl. So very taboo and very spicy. Then we read the 3rd book in the Windy City series, Caught Up by Liz Tomforty. Again, this has very similar tropes to the rest of the series. It's a sports romance. It's the single dad and the nanny trope, and then obviously found family as well. Again, this was a really beautiful story. The highlight of this story for me, I will always say it whenever I talk about this book, was the family unit that was built between Max, Kai, Miller, Monty, and Isaiah. It was absolutely beautiful, and that was the highlight of this book for me personally. I rated this one 5 stars and it also got a 1.5 chili spice as well. Then moving into September, we continued on with the Boys of Tommen. So I read Saving 6 and Redeeming 6, so books 3 and 4 in the Boys of Tommen series. This duet was not as strong as the first duet, but it wasn't bad either. Like, I still enjoyed it, but it was not as strong as the first duet. We had kind of like Joey and Aoife's backstory and then like at the same timeline as the first duet in the 2nd book, which kind of bothered me a little bit. The tropes we have in this is emotional. We talk about DV, drug abuse. It is a sports romance as well with the first duet, and you also get found family as well, and you also have accidental pregnancy spoken about in this as well. And yeah, like I said, I did enjoy it. It wasn't my favorite compared to other ones, but it was still really beautiful, and I did love this duet as well. Saving 6 got a 4.5 star and a 2 chili spice because this duet got spicy, and Redeeming 6 got a 4.75 and a 1.5 chili spice. Then we had another book that really let me down, and I hate it. I absolutely hate it. Absolutely hate it. The Coven by Harper L. Woods. It just made no sense. I don't know why I finished it. I should have DNF'd it, but anywho. This is Slow Burn, Enemies to Lovers, Secrets. The reason why I disliked this book was we literally spent the whole book trying to achieve one goal, which she did nothing to achieve said goal, and it really bothered me. Really, really bothered me. It got half a star and half a chili spice as well. I'm going to talk about Taming 7 and then we'll talk about the next duet that I read. And the next one that I read was Taming 7 by Chloe Welsh, which is book 5 in the Boys of Tommen series. This is Claire and Gibbsy's story. Again, it's sports romance, emotional romance. This is childhood best friends to lovers, slow burn, all those great things. Really beautiful story. Love this book. It was very, very sweet. It got a 4.75 star and a half a chili spice as well. Then I'm going to talk about the 2nd duet in the Crowns of Nyaxia series. So the Songbird and the Heart of Stone and the Fallen and the Kiss of Dusk by Carissa Broadbent. I didn't love this, but also didn't hate it. They weren't rated super poorly from me. I think I rated The Songbird of the Heart of Stone 3 stars and half a chili spice, and The Fallen and the Kiss of Dusk got 4 stars and 1 chili spice. It just didn't really need, these weren't as strong as the first 2 books. The first 2 books both got 5 stars from me, and I stand by that and scream that from the rooftops. It was such a beautiful series and so emotionally gripping, and just there's such a beautiful thing about it, but this was not as strong. I don't think think either of the characters had strong enough personalities to carry the books the way that they needed to. So that was a little bit unfortunate with these, but they weren't the worst books in the world either. And then I went on and I read Quicksilver by Callie Hart. Love this book. I am currently reading Brimstone as well. I will hold it up. I'm about halfway through Brimstone. I'm almost halfway through Brimstone. Like, I've read probably a third of it. This is really slow compared to this. This did have that whole, like, the first like couple of hundred pages was a little bit slow, but we shouldn't be doing that much in this. And Sierras and Kingfisher are separate. So although I have heard that we find out a certain person's real name in this, so that's got me intrigued to read it. So I do want to read it. I am reading another 2 books at the moment, but yeah, I've been reading this since it came out, since November 18th, and it's December 31st, and I've not read anything else in that. So I wanted to mention that I am still reading this as well. So TBD on what I think of this book. But Quicksilver I absolutely loved. This is a slow burn. You have fated mates as well. Like, you actually have like god fated mates, which is really interesting. It was a different concept to the fated mates trope that I really liked. I rated this 5 stars, and it also got a 2.5 chili spice, because once we got to the spice, it was quite spicy. Really enjoyed it, and I still think about that book quite a lot. And I also just want to talk about a quick quote from this book specifically. I'm not going to say who said what. It says, "Don't call her sunshine. Why not? Because she is moonlight, the mist that shrouds the mountains, the bite of electricity in the air before a storm, the smoke that rolls across a battlefield before the killing starts. You have no idea what she is, what she could be. You should call her Majesty." Absolutely loved it. It was so beautiful. Anyway, moving into October. So in October we finished the Windy City series. So we read Play Along and Rewind It Back by Liz Tomforty. I enjoyed Play Along, didn't enjoy Rewind It Back as much. The tropes you have in Play Along is, again, sports, found family, marriage in Vegas turned marriage of convenience, and the tropes in Rewind It Back, again, sports, found family, second chance, childhood friends to lovers. The reason why I didn't like Rewind It Back was the literal phrase of rewind it back or rewind it was used so much, but it was pointless. Play along was used, but it was always Isaiah saying to Kennedy, play along for the benefit of the storyline. This was kind of stupid. So that was why I didn't like that. Play Along got 5 stars and 1.5 chili spices, and Rewind It Back got a 3.75 star and a 1.5 chili spice as well. Like I said, they're not super spicy, but the spice is good. Oh my God, guys, we're almost done. We're down to the last stack. How crazy. My legs are sore. Then I finished off the Cursed Fae series by Leah Stone and Julie Hall. I read the first 2 books in 2024 and finished these off this year. They both came out this year. So the first one was Broken Hearted. I originally wasn't going to rate this 5 stars, but when I was doing my review in my reading journal, I actually decided to rate it 5 stars because I couldn't think of anything negative to say. At first, when I was reading it, I was like, oh, this is moving a bit slow. But as I read it, I kind of understood why it moved the way that it did, and I really enjoyed it towards the end. So that got a 5 star and half a chili spice because they are YA. They have like one fade to black closed door spicy scene and literally only one. So that got a 5 star. And then we have Black Hearted, which again got another 5 star and a half a chili spice as well for the same reason as well. Then I read That's Not My Name by Megan Lally. This is one of the books that kind of booted Frida McFadden from being one of my top tier like mystery thriller authors. This was so amazing. The way that you just had no idea what was going on. It's like unreliable narrated, but not like, it's so good. Essentially, she wakes up in a ditch one day. She's found by police. The police officer takes her back to the station. She doesn't remember her name, who she is, where she's come from, literally nothing about herself. And a man comes into the police station and says, I need to file a missing persons report. I can't find my daughter. I don't know where she is. And then he spots this girl and says, you found her. That's my daughter. Like, her name's this. I have all of the documentation. The police let her go into his care. And that's where I'm leaving it. And you need to read this book. It is so good. So good. This got a 5 star rating from me because as well, tell me why a YA mystery thriller had me sobbing like a baby. Tell me why. Then we have another DNF, but it's a soft DNF. It is going back on the TBR. I will pick it up. It is Lights Out by Nevessa Allen. I just was not in the mood for this. Me and Book Bestie were buddy reading it, and I couldn't do it. I don't know why. I just wasn't in the mood for it. It's not that it's bad. It's not that I didn't like it. I just was not in the mood for it. So it's going back on the TBR shelf because I will get to it eventually. I promise I will. Then I read Vampire Academy by Rachel Mead. Obviously the first book in the Vampire Academy series. This wasn't spectacular. spectacular, it wasn't bad, it was just kind of somewhere in the middle, and my rating really reflected that. It's a 3-star rating from me. No chili spice. There was some kind of talk about like certain things, but it never really happened, if that makes sense. So that's that one. And then we get into some really great mystery, suspense, dark romance thrillers. If you saw my reading only spooky vibes for a week for Halloween, you'll understand. The first book was Grimstone by Sophie Lark. I did not expect this to go the way that it did. The plot twist, everything. This was just absolutely amazing. It was not what I was expecting, and I enjoyed it so freaking much. I didn't realize there was artwork in this. Oh. I'm sorry, I listened to this on Audible, so like I didn't realize, but anyway, so good. You have suspense, murder, BDSM, stalker, haunted house. It's very much a dark romance. I rated this 5 stars and I got a 4 chili spice as well. It was chef's kiss, top tier. And then I read Pen Pal by JT Kaisinger. This was another 5-star read, absolutely fantastic. This is my highest spicy rated book this year. This got a 4.5 chili spice. It was super spicy, loved it. You have unreliable narrator, haunted house, BDSM tropes, all of those things. It's really, really like grieving widow, really great. Love this book. Absolutely amazing. Everyone really needs to read this book so much. Final book in October that I read was Deadly Occupants by Mads Rafferty. I had heard such good things about this, and oh my god, it did not disappoint in any way, shape or form. It was freaking amazing, and I'm so obsessed with it, and everyone needs to read this book. I will not stop talking about this book. It is absolutely amazing and I absolutely love it. It's like Scream meets Paranormal Activity meets Pretty Little Liars. Like, it is so good. It's set in college. You have haunted house vibes, college romance, all those types of things. It's a paranormal horror thriller. It's so good. I highly recommend. You need to read this book. It is so freaking good. I rated it 5 stars, 0 chili spices, but like this is also like almost an infinity star read as well. It's like a 6-star, but not an infinity star read, if that makes sense. And then moving into November, I didn't read a lot in November. I was in a huge reading slump after October. I don't know why, but I really was. So because I was trying to read Releasing 10, which we'll talk about in a minute, and I just couldn't finish a book, I was getting like bummed out at the fact that I couldn't finish a book, or that I hadn't finished a book. So I picked up the rest of the Heartstopper series by Alice Oseman that I owned. I've got books 3 and 4, sorry, volumes 3 and 4. I haven't read 5 yet, and I know 6 comes out next year. Super excited for that. But I picked these up because I was like, I know that I'll be able to read them in, you know, an hour or 2, and I'll finish a book and it'll entice me to read some more, which it did, but it still took me ages to finish off Releasing 10. But anyway, again, these got like, you know, a solid, they're all around the same ballpark for me. I rated volume 3 4 stars, and volume 5 got a 4.5 star. It just, volume 4 just seemed to take it to the next level, and it was really sweet and beautiful. I really recommend this series. It's so easy to read because they are graphic novels or comics. They're just so easy to get through, so highly recommend. And then we have Releasing 10 by Chloe Welsh, which is the final book to date, book 6 in the Boys of Tommen series. This follows Lizzie and Huey. The reason why I didn't like this book was I was expecting it, especially for the size it was, I was expecting we were going to get like past and then present, and we didn't. This was all past. None, like this literally 2003. I think Taming 7 was 2005, and literally 2003 was the last like year that we got from Lizzie or Huey, and it really yeah, like 2004. So like we didn't get to like see a continuation of what happened after Taming 7, which was what I really wanted to do. Like April 19th 2004 was the last date that we got in this, and it really bothered me, and that was something that really bothered me about this. I did like the book in general. I think that the topics spoken about are important. They're hard topics to digest, so definitely read your trigger warnings before reading this book. I think that is super important, especially with this series and this book specifically. But I rated this a 4 star, and I got half a chili spice as well. So that was that one. It was just the way, just because it was such a past, it was so rooted in the past, that's what bothered me. I do understand why she felt the need to do that, like Chloe Welsh felt the need to do that to kind of give reason to why Lizzie was the way that she was, but I don't think it needed to go on for that long, if that makes sense. And then we have December, which I kicked the reading slump finally. But the first one we have is Holiday Ever After by Hannah Grace. This is a like small town holiday romance, which I actually enjoyed more than I thought I would. I just really like Hannah Grace's writing, but I was concerned for any sort of holiday books because a lot of them are based in the Northern Hemisphere where it is snowing and cold, and I'm in the Southern Hemisphere where it is it's hot and I'm sitting at the beach. So it's one of those things, but I really did enjoy this. Like I said, it's small town, it's a holiday romance. You kind of have like rivals to lovers or enemies to lovers, kind of. I would say more rivals to lovers. I rated this a 4-star and 1.5 chili spice as well. And then I read, if you guys saw my like festive readathon that I did that actually turned into not being a readathon because my kid was sick, that's where I read that book. And then I also listened to My December Darling by Lauren Asher. I was incredibly hesitant to go into My December Darling because I did not like Love Redesigned by Lauren Asher at all, but I was like, no, I can't write off an author on one book. I really did enjoy this more than I thought I would. It was a little novella to the Lake Wisteria series, or it was a Lake Wisteria novella, so a lakefront billionaire novella, which was Love Redesigned, Love Arranged, and Love Unwritten, or Love Rewritten or something. And I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. It was very sweet, very cute. Listened to it in a few hours and it was just really, really sweet. I rated it 3.5 stars and 1.5 a chili spice. And then I read Silent Night by M.L. Philpott, and this was such a cute little, just like small little dark romance set in the holidays, and I actually really enjoyed this. I do want to get the other two that are out so far in this. Actually, I'm not even sure if they're out yet, but I know that there's one called Egg Hunt and Fright Night, I believe, and I want both of those because this was actually quite enjoyable. I did enjoy it quite a lot. I wouldn't have rated this any higher than a 4-star if I was going to give it full marks. I rated it 3 stars. Like I said, I wouldn't have rated it higher than a 4-star anyway, and I got it 2 chili spices, sorry. This is like a stalker romance as well. It was great. I really enjoyed this for just like a little short holiday themed dark romance. It was really great. Really enjoyed it. And then I was in a reading slump again, one of the biggest ones of my life yet again, and I was like, right, I'm picking up a thriller. I'm going to pick up a thriller and I want to read Megan Lally, and I had this book, which was No Place Left to Hide by Megan Lally, and this was the best decision I could have made. This kicked the reading slump so hardcore and it was so good. I literally read this in a day and it was fucking fantastic. Like, oh my god. So I don't know what she puts in these books and how she does it, but it is so freaking good. So good. You have unreliable narrator, who did it, murder. It's still quite YA as well. I mean, it's a little bit more, it's quite gruesome, but it's still YA in terms of like it doesn't have any spice in it. But oh my god, it is so good. It's so freaking good. Highly recommend that you read this, as well as That's Not My Name. I'm so excited to read We Did What We Did to Survive or something, or What We Did to Survive, that comes out next year. So excited for that. So highly recommend this book. This got a 5-star rating from me and no chili spice. And then I finished off the Shatter Me series, well, the trilogy, the original trilogy. I finished that off. So I read Unravel Me and Ignite Me. I literally read each of them pretty much in I read this one in a day, and I read this one over like 2 or 3 days because I didn't have the time to sit down and read it. And I loved them both so much. They were so good. I think I rated both of them like quite high. I rated Unravel Me 4 stars. Again, no chili spice. I rated Ignite Me 4.75. It was just missing that little like special sauce, but I really love this. There's a quote. I did annotate this, but not like fully to the point where I have tabs and stuff. I just sort of like underlined stuff and wrote little notes for myself in black because why not? But I want to read you a quote. It's page 12 in this book, and it's about time, and it really just hit something with me, and I just want to share it with you guys. It says, "We're running out of time," he says, "as if time were the kind of thing you could run out of, as if it were measured into bowls that were handed to us at birth, and if we ate too much or too fast or right before jumping into the water, then our time would be lost, wasted, already spent. But time is beyond our infinite comprehension. It's endless. It exists outside of us. We cannot run out of it or lose track of it or find a way to hold on to it. Time goes on even when we do not. We have plenty of time," is what Castle should have said. "We have all the time in the world," is what he should have said to me. But he didn't, because what he meant, tick-tock, is that our time, tick-tock, is shifting. It's hurtling forward, heading into an entirely new direction, slamming face first into something else, and tick, 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 tick. It's almost time for war. So I just, the way that puts time into perspective for me, like reading that was like, we all rush to do things in our life because we feel like we're running out of time. And I'm not saying that says that you should slow down, but I also feel like you should slow down. Like, yes, achieve those goals, do what you want to do, but also just like take a moment to like take it in. Like, take a moment to take it in. I think that is so important and so vital, and we need to be doing that. So that's all the books that I read. Let's go through the other 2 books that I'm currently reading. So I'm also currently reading The Rose Bargain by Sasha Payton Smith. I'm up to chapter 20 something. I'll check on my phone. I think I'm up to like chapter 24. I'm listening to it on Audible. Really love it. It's really great. quite funny. Wasn't expecting to enjoy it as much as I am. I'm not sure what I'm going to rate it. That's not what I'm up to. Bugger off. I'm up to chapter 27, so I'm about that much through it, I want to say, of that one. And then I'm also reading Diebound by Fable. I'm really enjoying this. This is kind of tying me over and scratching the little like Fourth Wing itch that I have, because I just want to reread Fourth Wing. So I started reading this because I do know that it is like almost the same as that, and again I'm almost halfway through that as well, like very close to being halfway through that as well. So really enjoying both of those. This one I feel like is going to be rated quite high. I actually feel like both of them are going to be rated quite high, so TBD, to be determined. So if you made it this far to the video, you guys get to see my top 5 favorite reads of the year and my 3 least favorite reads of the year. So my top 5 favorites, and it's really hard to pick between these ones, which is my favorite. In the end, I think it was Onyx Storm. If I look in my reading journal, yeah, in the end, I think I picked Onyx Storm because it's just one of those books that like I still want to reread all of Fourth Wing. So I ended up putting it as Onyx Storm. But we have Keeping 13 by Chloe Walsh, Quicksilver by Callie Hart, Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros, A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas, and For Whom the Bell Tolls by J.C. Lynn. They were the top 5 favorite books of mine this year. And then my 3 worst books of the year was Love Redesigned by Lauren Asher, The Coven by Harper L. Woods, and Bones Deep by Ivy Graves. So that is that. Okay, so that is the end of today's video. It's a very long one. I'm sorry that it is so long. Keep an eye out because I'm literally going to film like a bookshelf reorganizing video, and there will be a full-on bookshelf tour at the end of it. I've already filmed that, but because I've had to refilm this, I'm going to film putting everything back on the shelves in the same places that it was in. But anyway, if you enjoyed today's video, make sure you like and subscribe. Also comment down below what videos you want to see next year, or this year technically. If you don't already follow me on TikTok and Instagram, make sure you follow me over there. They're linked on the screen as well as in the description box below. And if you want any annotated books by me, head over to my Etsy shop. It's Commentary Corner, again on the screen and in the description box below as well. I have a huge selection over there, which is only going to grow over the next year as well. And that is it for me today. I will see you in a couple of days for that video. Bye. Mwah.